2 days with a very tough schedule. But we have tried to address all of the issues related to South Asia and also in Bangladesh because we are Bangladeshi. So we need to, at first we need to develop resilience of Bangladesh, then South Asian countries. And yesterday we have mentioned the main objective of this conference to develop some South Asian agenda and also to work together as a South Asian platform. So in the first conference, we are committed to publish one international quality journal, and it is already done. And then another objective, our commitment was to establish a South Asian research hub, and it is almost done. And we have also generated some funding for the South Asian researchers, and this fund will be managed by South Asian Research Hub and as well as Center for People and Environment. To promote climate resilience in South Asian countries by generating, disseminating scientific evidence. We know, especially in Bangladesh, there are a lot of projects related to climate change, but scientific research is very limited, not only in Bangladesh, also in South Asian country. Scientific evidence related to climate change, climate technology is very much limited. So we are trying to work some researches in South Asian countries, and also to build capacity of early and mid-career researchers on South Asian Common Agenda of Climate Change. Here Mirzabai and other persons are here. They know in South Asian countries climate related research are very much poor. And our capacity, I know in Bangladesh, our capacity is more than lower of the South Asian other countries, especially in India. So we are trying to build capacity, and also we are trying to promote somehow from Center for People and Environment, and also support from the other fellow organizations who are supporting us. And we have developed some thematic area based on discussion in the previous year on which issues we have to work in future, sea level rise and coastal change. But sir will debate here. Sir has mentioned he is my master supervisor also, and he is my direct student. I am the direct student of sir. And nature-based solution, local adaptation, climate migration, and human security. It is the most important issue in the South Asian countries. Climate and health nexus, biodiversity and food security nexus, and resiliency. These are the thematic area of the South Asian Research Hub, and we will work together on this issue. And we have this structure is not finally approved even now, but we have a structure of South Asian Research Hub Advisory Committee. Mr. Monin Kadir is the chief scientist of this South Asian Research Hub, and Sir also involved with us on sea level change issue. And there is some management committee for the South Asian Research Hub. They are working, and we are also searching some fellow from South Asian other countries. At present, Bhutan, Nepal, and India are active with us, but we could not reach even now Pakistan, Maldives, Afghanistan, and also Sri Lanka, but we are trying. And this is our government mechanism, and I have mentioned previously. But now in this conference, we have generated a small grant for South Asian researchers, especially students and young researchers who are searching a small grant to explore their technology or explore their scalable solutions. So we have mentioned there students and early career researchers on South Asian, they will be eligible for this grant, aligned with thematic area of South Asian Research Hub, scalable and publishable solution. We will not fund any impact assessment type study. We will fund solution type study or any technology and connected to human well-being. These interventions should be connected with human well-being and also policy implementation potentiality for Bangladesh or India or Nepal or any other country. This should be, we can influence policymakers to introduce these in the development activities, and also inclusion, gender, minority and disability inclusion issue should be included in this solution. The next month we are going to call for proposal. In every year we will call a proposal in December after the conference, then selection of idea. Within March we will notify which idea is selected, and then we will provide mentorship training for the selected fellows, how to develop scientific evidence and all documentation process. Then all of the selected ideas should be submitted by September. Then whenever we will select the idea, we will not provide any funding, but during the conference this year, we will provide the funding. So this year we will select this idea by March, but we will provide the fund in the next conference, and all of the participants should be physically present in the conference. This is the barrier of this fund. And there is another our commitment. This article journal already published, but as a first issue, there was no many more articles. We have found only 5 articles from the previous year participants. This journal is one of the most important objective of the journal to publish the articles which have been presented in these 2 days. So we will select. Firstly, we will select from this presentation, but we may also collect some article from our publication circulation also. The journal is focusing on climate resilient development, climate induced disaster, climate resilient agriculture and livelihoods, climate change and health, loss and damage, climate risk insurance, nature-based solution, ecosystem adaptation, human security and social protection, climate displacement, climate responsible employment, and also entrepreneurship. These are the thematic areas of the journal, and it is a totally scientific journal. These journals, it is also related to South Asian Research Hub. So South Asian Research Hub, a small grant, and also the journal are almost correlated. All of the articles should have policy issues and also mentoring for young researchers on scientific articulation. But we have found in these 2 days many of the presentation have highly scientific evidence, but articulation is not properly articulated scientifically. So we will provide mentorship for those selected articles, and also it will focus especially on research of South Asian conference participants. And it is almost similar to South Asian Research Hub small grant. We will call for paper in December, within December. Then selection March, and mentorship training for articulation April, submission of review July, feedback accommodation and final submission September, and we will publish within next conference you will get the copy of the journal.
Part of the one session for the seminar, but last couple of years we are discussing informally. Suppose we are discussing how to develop this research fund and research hub particularly, and also how we can go ahead with different types of research. And off the record, other activities are going on, like with collaboration with city and Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development, and as long as me and Dr. Saptoshi Mitra both are from Tripura University, which is very near to that. So Saptoshi Mitra is leading the from Geography Department with a very good GIS lab with him, and I am as a head Department of Rural Studies. So we are very much close to this research hub. Already we are part of that. And the thing is that there are many more issues. Like yesterday also we are discussing about development cooperation on climate change, and recently a lot of floods and other things happening both in India, in the part of West Bengal, Tripura, as well as Bangladesh. So some joint research is supposed to develop, and as per the research grants and others, definitely in the initial stage, if there is fund, it's okay. If it's not there also, with CP and EFSRD in collaboration with Tripura University to department, we can provide from here the research scholars with us, which are available. We can provide some travel grant definitely in our from our university as well as our ongoing running project also, and the accommodation and other things. So some cross-country studies related to river issues or some other issues are there, we can facilitate. So this South Asian Research Hub is very very important, and being a part of Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development right now, we have 28 country director from Africa, similarly 12 country director from our Asian countries. And recently we have made a number of MOU with various universities, like we have already MOU with the National Institute of Technology Indonesia, we have MOU with the university from Bhutan, MOU with Nepal as well as from Malaysia. So these are the ongoing processes are going on, and the South Asian Research Hub definitely is a very important outcome from this seminar, we can say. And obviously, after this conference with the leadership with CPE and definitely guide from our distinguished speakers and dignitaries here, we can form a small team for that, and that can be multidimensional, but focusing on the climate change. These are our initial idea on that. Secondly, we can float some research projects both in Bangladesh as well as India, as well as some common research fund we can grab from other sources jointly. And definitely, as CTA has already launched international journal related to climate change. Similarly, Global Forum for Sustainable Rural Development, we have International Journal on Sustainable Rural Development. So I am sure that both these organizations, with our effort, lot of young scholars, they will be guided to write the research paper for both these journals, and it will be a good opportunity for them also to publish their outcome of their research. It may be in terms of PhD thesis, or it may be the small research what we are going to provide for the research hub. With this, let me stop here, and let me also get some idea from our other speakers.
Last year and this year also, what I have noticed that is very much encouraging. That is engagement of our young friends who are very much dedicated with the research, and definitely guided by their honorable professors, and who also get also the credit. But I want to emphasize on one thing, that when they do the research, the focus should be following all the scientific guidelines and statistical analysis, so that it's publishable in the international journal. And so that is to maintain your high quality. You are definitely maintaining, but maintaining standard of a very highly reputed international journal. And we can guide it. For example, when we invite next year to the papers, and we will give some guidelines how to prepare your paper and how to prepare research. And second thing is, I would like to see some emphasis on the areas like key vulnerability and solutions to that, and especially focusing on climate risk, and also uses of climate change scenarios. And although those are plausible features, but that will guide us to what the future risk would be. And eventually, uses of artificial intelligence and machine learning for the solutions. Because if you look 5 years from now, you would see a significant increase in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I would also request my young friends that at least learning one programming language actually will make you very much competitive in the national and international level. Whether it is R, whether it is Python, or whether it is some other languages. And also the South Asian Research Hub yesterday, we put forward some areas of common areas of regional cooperation. And I would emphasize that we should also reach out to other countries, not only India, Bangladesh, Nepal, but other South Asian countries, listening under one umbrella, and then continue cooperation. And with this, I think I conclude my remarks. Thank you.
He has lots of time. Anyway, it might happen that he has given me the opportunity. 3 points rightly mentioned. One is the methodology, and the last discussion which I was just listening, is talking about the methodology. And we, the scientists, I should say, there should be 3 major areas when we investigate. One is methodology, and second was the literature review. If I do not review others' publication, so I am very isolated. And third one is very good skill, that is the text skill, how to write a methodology. So even you can take initiatives to prepare, to make young scientists by giving them the training, how to develop this kind of project proposals and others. AI use is, of course, it's a very, very good thing, but should be very careful whether AI would depend on me or I would depend on AI. If I would totally depend on AI, I'm in trouble. And South Asia, I should say, South Asia regional context, this is such a region where you are facing the worst climatic condition, worst disaster condition, worst environmental condition. It is full of red in climate context, disaster context, as well as environmental context. So the scientists of South Asian countries have a wider scope to collaborate and work together. So with few words on making comments on your comments.
So one thing what Professor Islam said, that whether AI would be dependent on me or I would be dependent on AI. Yes, you can ask AI any question and AI will give you an answer. For example, you can ask AI to write some coding. Yes, definitely AI will deliver you something. And that could maybe successfully run or may not successfully run. Yeah. But interpretation is yours. If, for example, if I do not know how the process is working and what would be the expected result I am expecting, and then AI could deliver me something, but that may not be appropriate. So, making stronger, say, my knowledge base is very important, so that I can actually drive AI. Yeah, because AI is the future, I tell you. But you have to understand what AI is delivering us. I have to make the interpretation. Look, we created AI. AI has not created us. It's the human brains who are to create AI. Yeah, it is faster than us because it is machine learning. But we prepared to interpret the outcomes from the AI. Thank you.
Thank you. Initially, I thought we are running out of time. Now I think it is little bit relaxed. So now I would request Dr. Islam, so Professor, Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Director Center for Infrastructure Research and Services. So now I requested Dr. Islam to Islam.
Thank you, Chair. Distinguished discussion. I'm really happy to attend this particular session, and special thanks to the organizers for inviting me. And I'm considering this particular conference as a good one because there is a thumb rule that decide about a conference depending on the type of people you are inviting for keynote speaker. When Professor Dr. Monirul Kadir Mirza is there as a keynote speaker, I can assume that it's a very good conference. Because nobody, some of you may not know him because he is staying in Canada for a long time. But once upon a time, he's a Buet graduate, my senior brother in Buet, and he's an internationally renowned personality in the field of climate change. Many of us don't know him actually because he is staying in Canada. He's a very reputed person, international IPCC members. So thanks again. We used to have contact almost every week over WhatsApp, but very rare occasion of meeting. Last year I was in Canada and I met him. Now the session is actually South Asia Research Hub small branch Dhaka Declaration. So already the introducer mentioned that we want to be solution oriented. There are lots of talks, there are lots of discussion. And especially me as an engineer, and Professor Mirza as well, we always try to solve problems. The difference between a scientist and an engineer is why an apple is falling toward ground. That's enough for a scientist to unveil the mystery of nature. Why it is happening? But this is not the way engineers do. Engineers' first question is it a problem? Then let us solve it. This is how engineers work actually. So climate change is really a problem. And that's why we have solution as well. We have solution in the form of renewable energy. We have solution in the form of adaptation. Well, we have to change behavior, lifestyle, and many other ways. But we must have to go for solution as well instead of talking. Let me say this bad habit of engineers, how ascertained by a diplomat. It seems to me that climate change is more becoming producing climate diplomats actually. Shahidul Hassan, maybe the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, he is now at adjunct faculty of North South University. And once I met him, and in a session, he said, I just told him that okay, there are lots of great guys in the foreign service. Because out of top 10 BCS position, 5 is from Kuwait. And 3 of my friends are now ambassadors in different countries. So I said, okay, there are lots of good people in foreign service. He said, yes, and they are good, they do well in BCS and become foreign service cadre. But whenever I gave him a problem, he tried to solve it immediately. And this is not the way diplomats do. Diplomats always try to linger the problem and discuss and negotiate. There should not be like this. They just solve the problem. So it seems that in the COP meeting, Conference of Parties, the parties are only talking and negotiating, but there is no solution. How to solve the problem? First of all, there is little chance that we can mitigate 100%. There is little chance because I am afraid that how much we can produce. It completely depends on innovation. If there is cheap technology for renewable energy, if there is, the technology become abundant in the field of alternative energy, green technology and others, then there is a good chance. But in that case, we have to go for adaptation. We must have to, the countries like us should have some effort for adaptation. Then we are going to be affected, we have to assume that we are going to be affected. And how can we adapt to the changing condition is an important issue. Like, for example, our roads are going down. Why roads are going down? For many reasons. One may be because our precipitation naturally changing, our water level is rising, and this is a major issue for us. It's increasing the cost of operation and maintenance of our road. So we have to think on the issues like this. Our coastal zone inundation is increasing day by day. So what about saline tolerant crop? We can do research and we can find some solution. Now, other than high-tech solution, we sometimes should look for indigenous solution as well. I had a research a few years back that in the coastal region, how people are trying to solve their water crisis through some indigenous approach, low-cost technology. This should be bottom-up approach, not top-down. I mean, how the understand the behavior of local people, try to adopt their technology, and try to upgrade it or upscale it to the next level. So like this way, we should have some sort of initiative that is indigenous technology, that the small grant, so small projects, and mostly to encourage those local solutions, local-led adaptation, LLA, or solutions, how to encourage. This might be a very important approach for our next. And I think while selecting the grants, they should consider those type of not very high-tech technology or something. Another initiative I appreciate that South Asia, the term South Asia is included here, and there was a speaker from Tripura University. Actually, we must have to consider it a serious issue that we have we need some engagement with our neighboring countries for solving problems. Because our water actually comes from outside, and mostly the 92% of our water comes from outside. Now, whether there is any solution or not, well, it depends again whether we like to solve or not. And sometimes it may be possible if we discuss, if we negotiate, if we continue dialogue, it is possible that in a win-win situation we can even solve the problem. But the problem is if somebody is reluctant, or there is mistrust, there is confusion, there is other problems, and we do not sit in the table and be open-minded, then we will have problem. Otherwise, there is solution. There is lots of solutions, lots of ways there are solutions. Even in a win-win situation, how to solve the water problem, transboundary watershed problem between Bangladesh and India, or even Nepal, Bhutan can be engaged there. So I think this cooperation is very important because many of the problems, first of all, the natural problem is almost same. Second, we share common resources like rivers, even not only the water quality, air pollution, transboundary air pollution, and many other ways we are actually connected to each other. So the more this particular South Asian conference, I would be happy to see that more and more participants from other South Asian countries attend and present paper. That will be interesting. And the more we talk, the more we communicate, the more we sit at the table, the more we exchange views, the problem can be, ice can be melted and problem can be solved. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Islam. He has rightly mentioned, we go to the doctor for a solution and we go to the engineer for a solution. But the solution we expect that should be nature-based, and the solution that should be human psychology and society-based. And if that is the way, the solution will sustain. And I fully agree with him that when you select the research project, consider who has come forward with indigenous knowledge and low technology. I should say they give the priority to those projects. About the water sharing solution, many years back I said the entire problem is technical, and we know the techniques and we know the technical problem, but the solution is political. Until the solution from political comes, it will never be solved. And I should say both the nations, bilateral, multilateral, they should be in win-win situation. Now I am requesting Mr. Farooq, Wasif, DZ, I'm taking Asim, PMD. So I would request you to share your ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me here, though I'm not, I don't think I'm the right person to speak anything in front of climate warriors and experts. But now I'm leading the Peace Institute Bangladesh, but still I'm a journalist. And as a journalist, where science, knowledge, and commitment to nature and society converge to the point where climate is a matter of concern. So, climate is not a thing to comprehend as a matter of poetry or anything, but science and commitment. But we have seen that there is also a dehumanization process also. When you think about climate or nature, humanity and people and society are invisible. When we think about solution, human involvement as only just as a victim, not as a leader who are part of the nature. So science taught us from our early childhood that human fighting against nature. That was not true, and we all know that. So I have nothing more to say here. I am just I came here to just watch, to meet, and to enlighten myself also by being a audience, not as a speaker. But I'm grateful that you invited me, and I hope and I think everything is going well. PIB can do many things. This is a not only an academic and institution, but it is also a research-based institution. And in a South Asian arena, climate is the thing where we can meet as a friend, not as a competitor, not as a rival in politics race. And people think like that. People do not see people of other country not as an enemy. Water is not a thing to divide or to distribute or to redistribute. Water can unite everything. The sediment we got here in our delta, it travels many countries and many civilizations and many. It has a remnant of many things of nature and society. So we can follow the nature and we can find some point to be united and to work together. And PIB can facilitate research, publication, and PIB can arrange these types of events in future. And I hope that you all be in our partner as an institution, as an research institution. PIB can be a partner and we can work together. Thank you very much and welcome everyone. Our door is open for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Farooq Wasif, the Honorable DG of PIB. He has rightly mentioned, one thing is that he simply acknowledged that he's a journalist and he liked to be a journalist. But once we believe that for any sustainable development, for any sustainable society, three forces work together. One is the academics or professionals, and another force is the politicians, and the third force is the bureaucrats. If these three forces doesn't work together, the nation will not go forward. Nowadays, it is believed that there is a fourth force, and that is the journalist. Because journalists are the people who disseminate the message, either rightly or wrongly. So if we believe that we have two approaches, one is top-down approach and another is bottom-up approach. In both approach, the journalist can trigger the process. So you are not simply a journalist, sir. You are also a part of the process. You are a part of the process, you can make things smoother to achieve our goal. So in that case, he has invited and he said that the door is open, and we like to see that the door is open. Now, I'm going to you.
Thank you, sir. We are in the close of the second South Asian conference, and this is in this year. South Asia is quite complex. It's very complex, and it has huge diversity and unity issues. In the same last week, I was in Nepal. It is tourism, and it's a disaster-based tourism. In Nepal-China border, there is a huge mountain that is in 2014. There was this landslide. Now it is a very popular tourist destination for the tourists as well as the research students to learn the disaster. That disaster happened due to the climate change. We know the effect of permafrost. So for some reason, the temperature in Himalayan areas has increased, and the water that is inside the soil, inside the mountain, that start flowing or melting. And that resulted this landslide in that hill. Unfortunately, the landslide actually it's destroyed one village that was situated on the side of this hill, created one lake. That lake was popularly known as Kobe Lake. But the lake sustained for only 1 week on the river Shonkush. And all of a sudden, after 1 week, the lake that also break is, there are some stones, someone has taken the stone out or something happened, and all of a sudden the lake burst. And the bursted lake caused flood in some part of India, that is in West Bengal. We know the river Shonkush, and Shonkush is connected with Tista. We also had a flood in 2014 in our northern part of Bangladesh, Dinajpur and other areas. So see that the main cause was the climate change. That resulted the flooding in Nepal caused a misunderstanding between Nepal and India about the flood. Again resulted a misunderstanding between Bangladesh and India. The Shonkush flood. But the ground reality was the cause was by the climate change. This South Asia is such complex. I sometimes say that South Asian relationship is a bit like the GTV families. They are fighting with each other, but they are staying together for some reason. So this is the South Asia, and that's why the South Asian Conference has made this research hub. The hub will allow or encourage the people of the South Asia to learn between them. Until the young people of Bangladesh understanding the young people of India, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, we can have a good relationship. There is a good paper on the river, on our river management. So they used the term bosom friend, India from between Bangladesh. The author was, when she was describing the paper, the bosom friend, Bangladesh and India. Are they a bosom friend? Definitely answer is no. But she feels as a young one. So this is the beauty. That's why the hub has started the young researchers, supporting young researchers in future. So that will build a good understanding between the South Asian community. So we believe within short future, the South Asian people can understand themselves. And we request you to write to the journal. And this will widely disseminated within the South Asian countries as well as the other part of the world. So I conclude now. With the hope of to the young people. People of South Asia, Dr. Khalid recommended that we should be visionaries. That what we are doing, we should be clear. And also one thing Manuel Major has said to us, the literature review. This is very common in South Asian countries. Even when I was, to make my life easy, I said to one of my teacher about, I studied elephant ecology in university. And my professor asked me, that time there was not that many, the Google or something. Asked me, you will have some literature review. And then I said to him, most of the literature are from the South Indian part. There are more elephants in South India. And I tried to avoid the North Indian researchers. Because I think that makes our life easy. So sometimes, as a reviewer, I sometimes found that okay, some people are not actually including the previous studies of some literature. Authors. One of my friend, there was a famous singer from Dhaka University. He was from microbiology department. Hassan. He was actually a singer of Hassan Raja's song and very popular in Humayun Ahmed films. And he had his research on the fish, it's called in Subarnakhari. So one of my friends has a similar research when he was student. And what my friend does, he actually made all of Hassan's wife's thesis papers out from Dhaka University library, Dhaka University seminar, even from his house. He requested Bhabi to give the research paper of the gentleman and took it out and made it nearly a copy of this and submitted, and he got the highest mark among ourselves. Among our friends, he got the highest marks by ignoring a previous research. So these shouldn't be a style of researcher, because nowadays we can explore from Google and other areas. So as Professor Moniro requested us and asked us, that's our learning, that we will definitely go to the literature review and know that what has South Asia done. I'll conclude with other recommendation from recommendation that was planted from Rana and Khalid. That we will work for our country, but a research work that can help South Asia and gradually Asia and the entire globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. He has mentioned one thing, that while he was in Nepal, he had the experience how landslide happened. We experienced two landslides, 2007 and 2017. The same thing happened. We have made lots of cracks because we have deforested and we have cut the hills, and through the cracks the water penetrates and make the soil saturated and finally landslide. And this is very much climate induced. Also human interventions are also involved. We know in Nepal there are hundreds of glaciers as lakes, and these we call the glacier lakes. And globes, there is the word globes. That is the glacier lake outburst. If these lakes outburst together or simultaneously, it will be catastrophic flood for Bangladesh, downstream country. We have never thought about that, but he has experience, So whatever activities or whatever measures have been taken in the upstream countries, we are simply the victims. So that is very much climate induced. So we should be very careful what is happening in our upstream region. Now I would request Mr. Mahan Kumar Mandal. Mr. Mahan Kumar Mandal, Executive Director, Leaders. So Mr. Mandal.
Thank you, sir. Give me the chance to say something at the closing session of this important second South Asian conference. You know that the title of the conference is The Unfolding Emerging Issue. So I would like to concentration a word unfolding means that us what remaining fold we are unfolding means we are exploring a new knowledge hub, and we are exploring some new ideas. So it is my great pleasure to be here as yesterday I had a paper, and at the closing session, it is my great pleasure to be here. I am very much grateful to the organizer, though leaders is one of the organizers, but I'd like to salute Mr. Abdurrahman Rana, who devoted his life for the research and gave a lot of efforts to organize this conference. This is the second conference. The last year, that was the first conference, and we are delighted to be part of that conference. Actually, I am not a researcher. I am not an academician. I am a development practitioner. So I am working in a non-profit organizations. So that's why I do not give any kind of insights of the papers or technical things or in the any kind of recommendation. But in my life, we are experiencing a lot of problems. Like the climate change, undoubtedly climate is changing, and people of Bangladesh, people of South Asia suffering a lot of problems. This year, this 2024 is a devastating year for the Bangladesh. You know that huge loss and damage occurred due to the last several catastrophes, right? The cyclone Remal in southern part, the eastern part is the flood, and the northern part is flood. More than 20,000 crore of money we lost. It is the economic loss, but there are a lot of non-economic, like a lot of people are in a trauma, a lot of life we already lost. So all the things we have to consider. We are sitting here just for some days. After some days, there will be a big conference, and COP29 are going to be held in Baku in Azerbaijan. Every year, we are shouting a lot of things. We are demanding a lot of things. Like we have to reduce our carbon emission. We have to, the developed countries need to give a lot of money for betterment of the community people. But what is our capacity? You know that there are a lot of money. Since 2020, people are committed, the developed countries committed that $100 billion they will be give for the developing nations. Though the commitment is not fulfilled, but some money already placed. But do you know how many projects Bangladesh got from the Global Green Climate Fund? Maximum 2 or 3. But our neighboring country, they have more than 100 projects. So it is a matter of capacity that our people, our young people who are presenting here, it is great pleasure that more than 35 papers we presented in last 2 days. It is great that the young researchers, they are coming forward. They are doing something. They are trying something to find out the issues, find out the ideas. What can we have to do for our betterment? The young people who are sitting there, we are working for them last 2 decades, right? But we are very much unfortunate that we cannot give them a hope for a better future, for a better world, right? So people need to identify the new knowledge, people need to identify new ideas. And Ranawai already said that this conference, they already declared a small fund, but that should be the solution based, right? We need solution. We have a lot of problems. We are not responsible for global carbon emission. Not so much. We don't have any scope to reduce the carbon emission, but we have a lot of scope to find out solution and implement some good ideas to better the community. So the young people, you are the right person who can show a better dream for our generation, for our country. So I would like to salute the young researchers who submitted their papers and whose paper is selected and who presented here. It is a great idea for us. We are a small NGO based in southwest Bangladesh, but we are very much happy to get involved with this conference. Since last year and this year, we are not giving a lot of money, but our mental support. I think Ranabhai can enjoy the mental support from you, from the organizer, mental support, personal life, our Manur sir. So they are the scholars. So we need mental support, and our young people also need the mental support to go forward. In this year, we'll shout again. You know that this COP is finance COP. we are raising our voice in favor of NCQC, new quantified, new collective quantified goal of finance. Means the $100 billion or committed in the Paris Agreement, we are demanding that the international community they have to pledge a lot of money for the climate finance and for the loss and damage. Last year we had the loss and damage fund, but what we will do that money? To find that solution, we need the young people who are sitting here, who are studying in different universities. So it is very urgent to establish a science hub in Dhaka for the young researchers, like leaders. Leaders already set up a knowledge management center in the southern part of Bangladesh. We are trying to encourage the young researchers to do some research in the community level. We are also giving some scholarship to the young researchers. Last 2 or 3 years we at least we give them 15 scholarship to the young researchers. I think the young people who are sitting there, if you want to apply our fund, you can visit our website and you can visit our Facebook page. Sometimes we call for papers. So you can apply there. We will be happy to give you any kind of support for research. But the NCQC, new collective quantified goal for finance, if the international community allocate more finance for climate finance and the loss and damage finance, we need solution. We have to give them the solution that the money we will use for that. So the young researchers they are doing this. I would like to salute all the young researchers, and I am very much happy to be here, and I would like to greatly thanks to Rana Bhai and Siddhi to organize this conference. In the future, we will continue our support to support the young researchers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mahatma Mandal, for your nice presentation and discussion. One thing is, I'm very happy that this is the second conference of its type, and I'm very pleased to say that I was in the first conference as well. So, from starting, I'm very much with this hub. If I say it, he has just mentioned that out of the 30 papers, most are from the youngsters, from young peoples. So this is the generation of young people, I think. If you think the global eco, if you take global voice, this year the theme of World Climate, World City Day, it was the youngs and young people who have been addressed in the theme. And if you see our country context, the youngs are leading our ideas. So if both old and young can work together, that would be a very sustainable solution. So, as I should say, how is about the, is from Bhutan? Okay. So, initially I said I am in time constraint and a little bit stressed. Now I should say that I have saved time, so I'm in a relaxed mode. So I don't like to misuse this time or underuse this time. I would like to make proper use of this time. I have 15 minutes time further to share, or 20 minutes, 15 minutes I should say. So with the permission from organizers, I like to use this time maximum. I am just raising few points so far I have learned. One is that hub is formation and way forward, looking forward. So you are all, young thinkers, old thinkers, mature thinkers in front of me. What do you think about this hub, future of this hub, and how we can proceed? This fund can be raised, used, and how you can support. You can give your idea about this fundraising and fund formation. Third one is the connectivity. How the policymakers, the South Asian hub, think tankers, they can be connected. And fourth issue is data sharing data among these stakeholders. Keeping these 4 points, I would request the audience in front of me, you can raise your hand and you can share some of your ideas. How do you want to see the future of research of future of fund, connectivity and data sharing. Please.
ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জেস নিয়ে তো এখন আলোচনা মানে সব ক্ষেত্রেই হচ্ছে, কারণ এটা বিশেষভাবে আমাদের সবাইকে প্রভাবিত করছে। এই জলবায়ু পরিবর্তন কিন্তু শুধু নারী পুরুষ না, আমাদের দক্ষিণ এশিয়ার এবং বাংলাদেশ সহ প্রত্যেকটা জায়গাতেই এর যে প্রভাব আমরা প্রভাবিত হচ্ছি বিশেষভাবে। তবে এখানে অনেকগুলো রিকমেন্ডেশন এসছে, আমি একটু বলতে চাই যে নারীদের বিষয়গুলোকে একটু স্পেশালি দেখতে হবে। কারণ যেটা হচ্ছে যে আমি এটাই বললাম যে নারী পুরুষ সবাইকে প্রভাবিত করে, কিন্তু নারীদের যে অবস্থাটা, নারী এবং শিশু তাদের অবস্থাটা কিন্তু অনেকাংশেই বেশি। এটা আমরা সবাই জানি, সবাই বুঝি। কারণ আমরা পল্লিশ্রী একদম প্রত্যন্ত এরিয়াতে কাজ করি, নীলফামারীর যে চর আছে সেই চরে আমাদের কাজ করি। তো ওখানে যেটা একদম সামনে থেকে দেখা যে যখন এই ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জেস দুর্যোগ ফ্ল্যাশ ফ্লাড চলে আসে এবং মানে পরপর এইভাবে নদী ভাঙ্গনের ক্ষেত্রে দেখা যায় যে এক একজনকে, মানে আমরা যেটা দেখেছি লাস্ট, যে একজনকে বেশ কিছু ফ্যামিলি তারা 12 বার বাড়ি চেঞ্জ করেছে আসল জায়গা থেকে এই পর্যন্ত। তো তাহলে বোঝায় ওঠার আগেই তাদের সবকিছু শেষ হয়ে যায়। তো এরকম একটা, এবং এরকম অবস্থায় পুরুষরা কিন্তু কর্মসংস্থানের জন্য বাইরে চলে যায়, এবং ওই ফ্যামিলির নারী এবং শিশু তাদের যে দুর্দশা এবং তাদের যে অবস্থা সেটা কিন্তু নিজে মানে একদম ওই কমিউনিটিতে যে না দেখলে এটা বোঝা যাবে না। তো সেই কারণে আমরা দেখি যে বিভিন্ন ভাবে, এবং ওখানকার যে শিশুরা তাদের যে অবস্থা, এবং এই যে আজকে আমরা বলি যে যৌতুকের বিষয়, বাল্য বিয়ে, সবকিছু কিন্তু ওই এরিয়াগুলোতে অনেক বেশি। এবং আমরা দেখি যে কালকেও আমি কথাটি বলেছিলাম যে একজন মানে মেয়ে শিশু বিশেষ করে সে 5 ভাবে কিন্তু এফেক্টেড হচ্ছে। প্রথমটা যদি আমরা বলি যে তার স্কুলে ঝরে পড়াটা, দ্বিতীয়ত আমরা বলতে পারি যে যেহেতু একদম আর্লি ম্যারেজ হচ্ছে, সেখানে আর্লি ম্যারেজের কারণে সেই শিশুটি কিন্তু আরেকটা শিশুকে জন্মদান করছে। তৃতীয়ত আমরা বলতে পারি যে পারিবারিক যে সহিংসতা, সেটা কিন্তু তাকে বিশেষভাবে সে পারিবারিক সহিংসতার মধ্যে পড়ে যায়। এবং চতুর্থত তার কোনো কর্মসংস্থানের জায়গাগুলো কিন্তু তার জন্য বন্ধ হয়ে যায়। কারণ আর্লি ম্যারেজ হলে পরে আজকে যে 10 বছরের মেয়েটা বিয়ে হয়ে যায়, পরের দিনই তাকে কিন্তু আর আমরা শিশু ভাবি না, সে কিন্তু তখন আলটিমেটলি একটা নারীর মতো তার কাছে সবকিছুই আমরা এক্সপেক্ট করি, একদম পরিবারের কাজ থেকে শুরু করে সবকিছুই। আমাদের মন মানসিকতাটা এরকম হয়ে যায়, এবং একদম লাস্ট যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে যে বিভিন্ন ধরনের স্বাস্থ্য ঝুঁকিতে সে পড়ে যায়। হ্যাঁ, এবং দেখা যায় যে সে এবং তার বাচ্চা ম্যালনোরিশ অবস্থায় থাকে, এবং একসময় হয়তো জীবন অবসান হয়ে যায়। তো এরকম এই যে অবস্থাটা, তো এই জন্য নারীদের বিষয়গুলোতে আমার মনে হয় যে স্থানীয়ভাবে জাতীয় পর্যায়ে পর্যন্ত একদম সবখানে আমার মনে হয় যে তাদের যে সমস্যাগুলো সেগুলোকে লিস্ট করা, এবং সেগুলো সমস্যার সমাধানে আমার মনে হয় যে এগিয়ে আসা, এবং প্রত্যেকটা জায়গাতেই তাদের অংশগ্রহণটা খুবই জরুরি। কারণ নারীরা যদি না থাকে তাহলে তাদের মতো করে তাদের কথা বলন কিন্তু আসবে না, সেই কারণে তাদের অংশগ্রহণটা খুবই জরুরি, এটা করার দরকার। আর লাস্টলি যেটা বলবো যে আসলে সবাই আমরা প্রভাবিত হচ্ছি, আমরা বিশেষভাবে দেখছি যে প্রত্যেকটা জায়গাতেই এটার প্রভাবটা যেভাবে পড়ছে। আর কালকে একটা কথা আমি বলেছিলাম, সেটা হচ্ছে যে শুধু দক্ষিণ এশিয়াতে মানুষই বাস করে না, এখানে বিভিন্ন বিলুপ্ত প্রায় প্রাণী, এখানে পাখি, মাছ, বিভিন্ন উদ্ভিদ এবং নানা প্রজাতির প্রাণ, এখানে নানান গোষ্ঠী, নানান মতবাদের গোষ্ঠী আছে, যার কারণে এখানে কিন্তু আমাদের সবার কথাকেই সেভাবে চিন্তা করতে হবে। এবং আমার মনে হয় যে এই জলবায়ুর যে পরিবর্তনের যে দুর্ভোগ, সেটাকে মহামারী হিসাবে দেখা উচিত। এবং আমি এটা বলবো যে আমরা বিভিন্নভাবে অনেক ধরনের এখানে আমরা সেমিনার করছি, বিভিন্নভাবে সামিট হচ্ছে দেশে বিদেশে সবখানেই। কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় যে আমাদের যে কার্যক্রমগুলো অন্তত আমাদের দক্ষিণ সাউথ এশিয়ান কান্ট্রিতে এবং বিশেষ করে বাংলাদেশে আমরা আমাদের মতো করেই হয়তো কিছু কিছু কাজ আমরা শুরু করেছি, কিন্তু আমার মনে হয় যে এটাকে আরো ব্যাপকভাবে মানে আসা উচিত এই জায়গাগুলোতে। আরেকটা জিনিস হচ্ছে যে গবেষণা হচ্ছে যে বিভিন্নভাবে সেই গবেষণার যে ফলাফল সেটা যদি একদম প্রত্যন্ত এরিয়াতে পর্যন্ত আমরা নিয়ে যেতে পারি তাহলে হবে যে সেখানে অন্তত সেই মানুষগুলো তাদের জীবনটাকে গুছানোর জন্য হয়তো আগাম কিছু তাদের কাছে যদি আমরা নিয়ে যেতে পারি এই সংবাদগুলো তাহলে তারা কিন্তু কিছুটা অন্তত গুছায় যেতে পারবে এরকম একটা বিষয়। আর অর্থনীতি মানে ফান্ডের ব্যাপারটা তো আছেই। এটা হচ্ছে যে বিশেষ করে আমার মনে হয় যে শিল্পোন্নত কান্ট্রি যারা আমাদের জলবায়ু সংকটের জন্য অর্থ দেয় সেই অর্থটাকে আরো বিশেষভাবে কার্যকর করে নেওয়ার জন্য একটা উদ্যোগ থাকতে হবে এবং পাশাপাশি এটার জন্য যথাযথ ব্যবহারটা সেই জায়গাটাতে আমাদের যথেষ্টভাবে দেখা উচিত। আর রাষ্ট্রীয়ভাবে আমার মনে হয় যে এইখানে মানে রাষ্ট্রেরই বিষয় কিন্তু এটা রাষ্ট্রকে আগায় আসতে হবে এই ধরনের উদ্যোগগুলোতে সামিল হওয়ার জন্য। তো আমি শেষে সবাইকে অনেকভাবে ধন্যবাদ দিচ্ছি এবং বিশেষ করে আয়োজনকারী যারা এটা আয়োজন করেছেন এবং আমরা এখানে আসতে পেরেছি। আমরা দিনাজপুর থেকে আসছি, তা আমরা খুবই ভালো এবং অনেক বিষয় আমরা জানতে পারলাম এখানে। এটা খুবই ভালো লাগলো এবং আশা করি যে আমরা আগামীতে এটার সঙ্গে থাকবো এবং আমরা হয়তো আরো মানে এই ধরনের কাজের সঙ্গে জড়িত হতে পারলে আমাদের আরো ভালো লাগবে। আর আমাকে একটু যদি সময় দেন আর দুইটা কথা একটু বলতে চাই, যেটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা মানে একেবারে প্রত্যন্ত এরিয়াতে চরে কাজ করি, তো ওখানে একটু সংক্ষিপ্ত ভাবে বলছি যে আমরা চেষ্টা করেছিলাম যে আমাদের ওই এরিয়াতে গ্রুপ মেম্বার নারীদেরকে স্মার্টফোন দিয়ে সেখানে অ্যাপস দিয়ে আমরা চেষ্টা করেছিলাম যে অন্তত আগাম তথ্যগুলো জানা তারা পেতে পারে, তাহলে পরে তারা কিন্তু একটা মানে নিজেদের পরিবর্তনটা আনতে পারবে এবং সেখানে তারা যে বিভিন্ন ধরনের কার্যক্রমের সঙ্গে জড়িত সেটা তারা আরো সুন্দরভাবে তাদের মতো করে করতে পারবে। তো এটা ফলাফলটা আমরা কিন্তু দেখেছি যে তারা স্বাস্থ্যগত বিষয়গুলো আগাম আবহাওয়ার যে পরিস্থিতি সেটা সম্পর্কে তারা জানতে পেরেছে এবং দেখা গেছে যে তারা কিন্তু এখন কমিউনিটি ব্যাংক হিসাবে কাজ করছে। তো সেই জন্য আমার মনে হয় যে নারীদেরকে যদি আমরা এই কাজে অংশগ্রহণ করে এটা আমাদের জন্য ভালো একটা কাজই হবে আর কি। তো পরিশেষে আমি ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি এবার সবাই। ধন্যবাদ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনার ইস্যুটাকে আমরা সবাই ফিল করি যে নারীদের সব জায়গায় থাকা দরকার। So we are very delighted that one of our discussion from India.
I'm directly come to the point. Most of the discussion is in this particular session I follow. Yes, I start from beginning of this small fund, and small fund basically support the micro startup. And for the major discussion about the climate both need the micro study as well as the macro study. And I am not very, as a geographer, I am not very much astonished about the climatic change because climate is always changing. Whether we know the phenomenon before or not, that is the point I think is very important for perspective of climate because climate is nature and sometimes we can speculate, sometimes we can not speculate accurately. Only the science can, the development of science can give us the right directions of this climatic change. The second important thing is related to the climate change is related to very much with the human society, the human life and human settlement, which affects the climate all over the world. It relates with its occupation, its fuel, its transportation, its comfortability, for example, the air conditioned machines, refrigerator system. So we know the things, but it also affects the climate. In the macro level, for example, we can say the city, the heat in the afternoon time, and also the global level. That conflicts come.
the question of the climate change with the riverbank erosion, the flood, the landslide, everything is related to the research, because research can only give us some kinds of suggestion. Which suggestion? The policy. We have the policy. Each and every country has some kinds of policy documentation already, but we have to investigate the policy, develop the policy, and major thing is that there is a policy implementation. There is a gap of the policy implementation, because the policy is sometimes against the development, so-called development, and there is the problem. And the problem also for us, the researcher, for the scientists, for the academicians, and that's we generally follow the traditional acceptance of the governance system, and we sometimes forget about the actual one. We have to follow. So there is a conflict in between also us in our mind when we are going for the researcher. Now also India, for small example, all the funding agencies are not interested about the academic discussion, academic analysis. They are also interested with the result. So many results come out, but why these are not implemented in the scenario? For example, two examples are given. Number one, the Sundarban data, both for Bangladesh and West Bengal, is a very important thing. And only the answer to resist, to some extent, the cyclone. The government is almost not fulfilling all the recommendations are going last 30, 40 years. West Bengal, the Sundarban already destroyed because of the huge settlement. And this is the questions. If the results, the research came out, whether the government systems is ready to accept for implementation, that is the problem. Second thing is very important is the flood. Everywhere in Southeast Asia, the flood is there. But flood is very common. Flood is nature. Now the question is the flood water can retain for this small duration, 1 year today, which is good for the cultivation, or it can sustain for 4, 5, 7, 8, 15 days, which is very much difficult for the settlement as well as the agriculture and other also occupations. So that is the questions where we can point it out our research and whether we can develop the policy documentation. So I think as academicians, this is our role is very critical. And the real thing, the real scientific things, we have to come out and we have to publish the data, analyze the data, as well as we have to criticize and place our original statement, real statement in front of the people, because the peoples are not, they have their own knowledge, they have their own system. So you have to change the system, otherwise it is very difficult to cope up this climatic scenario related with all other settlements. Settlements is a very crucial thing, because one of the major problem associated with the environment is how the settlement growth pattern without any kinds of proper planning implementation is going on. So many things I have to point it out in this session, so I can do not continue because only 5 minutes I have taken. So thank you very much for this initiative of this 2 days research work, and I think obviously the new researchers, because the thought process is important, in which directions policy can be implemented and documented. So thought process is very important to visualize the problem and solve their solutions, to portray their solution.
আমাদের যেটা সমস্যা আর কি, যে জেনারেশন গ্যাপটা, যেটা যে রিসার্চারদের সাথে আমাদের ইউথদের যে একটা জেনারেশন গ্যাপ হয়ে যায়, এটা আর কি একটা সমস্যায় বলা যায়। কারণ বাংলাদেশে ইনোভেশনের অভাব নাই। অনেক মানুষ আছে যারা বিভিন্ন ধরনের অনেক রুরাল এরিয়া থেকে, অনেক ছোট ছোট অনেক মানুষ আছে যারা বিভিন্ন ধরনের ইনোভেশন করতেছে, বাট ওইটা আমরা সবার সামনে নিয়ে আসতে পারতেছি না ওইভাবে। পাশাপাশি বাংলাদেশে যেই সমস্যাটা হয় আর কি, যে টেকনোলজি, সায়েন্স এআই এগুলোকে যেভাবে প্রমোট করা হয় ওইভাবে ক্লাইমেট চেঞ্জটাকে আমরা কিন্তু প্রমোট করতে চাই না। বাংলাদেশ যে ক্লাইমেট ক্রাইসিসের ভিতর আছে সেটা তো আমাদের ইয়াং জেনারেশনকে জানানো দরকার, কারণ তারাও ইনোভেশন করবে। তো এখানেও একটা সমস্যা থেকে যায়, যেটা যে তারা প্রপার রিসোর্স ট্রেনিং এগুলো পায় না। তো সাউথ এশিয়ান রিসার্চ হাব যেটা করতে চাচ্ছে যে একটা ইনোভেশন হাব, মানে একটা রিসোর্স হাব করা, যেখান থেকে সবাইকে আর কি রিসোর্সগুলো প্রোভাইড করা হবে। তো এটা আমার মতে ইয়াং যারা আছে তাদের জন্য অবশ্যই ইনোভেশনের একটা ভালো সুযোগ করে দিবে। এটা ফ্যাবুলাস একটা পদক্ষেপ নিয়েছে রানা ভাই যারা আছেন সংশ্লিষ্ট এর সাথে। আমি আন্তরিকভাবে সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জানাই। এর পাশাপাশি আমাদের রিসার্চারদেরকে নিয়ে তো বিভিন্ন কনফারেন্স হওয়া বাধ্যতামূলক, দরকার এগুলা। এর পাশাপাশি কনফারেন্স দরকার যেখানে আপনার একই সাথে অ্যাকাডেমিশিয়ানস, রিসার্চার্স, পলিসি মেকার্স, ইউথ যারা কাজ করতেছে, তারপরে ক্লাইমেট অ্যাক্টিভিস্ট, সবাইকে একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে নিয়ে এসে একটা ইকো সিস্টেম ক্রিয়েট করা, যেখান থেকে আমরা আমাদের ফিউচার জেনারেশনের জন্য কিছু সিদ্ধান্ত নিতে পারবো। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আপনি এমনি ছোট হলেও চিন্তার জগতে ছোট না দেখা যাচ্ছে, খুব ভালো চিন্তা। এই হাব যেন ইয়াংদেরকে আলাদাভাবে অ্যাড্রেস করে।
Something to say about the researchers. Actually, I'm a girl who was born and brought up in a city and didn't have any idea about what is going on in the field. So I'm from agriculture background. So whenever I was studying it, I came to know about the field. And then I was interested to know about climate change. And then I go to the very southern part of Bangladesh, where loads of climate vulnerable people. So I think whenever you are doing research, you have the idea of field level. Because whenever I am in field, my idea is totally changed nowadays. Because what we are thinking, sitting in the room like this, sitting in air-conditioned room, we have one kind of thoughts. But the field level thought is totally different. Field level scenario is totally different. You can mention that we can open a water reservoir which will give a solution for water scarcity. But how will you do it in the southern part of Bangladesh when scorched summer, scorched heat, and there is no water in the pond? So pond is one kind of reservoir, but no water during summer season. People have to go a long way to collect some water, or there are lots of difficulties. So I want to say to you who will go for further research, and also it will be a suggestion for them. Please have field level ideas. What is actually needed for them? Because I believe we all want to do for the people of our country who are suffering most. So we will do for them. Actually, we need to have idea what is the real scenario. And as a part of leaders, I want to mention that, and I found some of the researchers who applied for our research fellowship, and some of them also received our research fellowship. So as knowledge and research manager of leaders, I am very much happy that I'm able to do, and I am associated with these activities. So yes, this is my last word for the researchers, and best wishes for Research Hub.
I just say, mentioning Dr. Mitra, I think he's hearing. Yes, climate change, has two major parameters. One is the natural induced climate change, and human beings has nothing to do with that. The nature is working on his way. But the human-induced climate change, where human interventions are there, that is the concern. How we can minimize that impact, and all the plannings are encircling that concept, that as a human beings, how much we can reduce it. If I say few of the findings of this session, one thing is that one is the creation of a small fund, and considering the young generations, youngsters, particularly the young researchers and the students, to explore their fund, and that fund should be solution-based project. That is one of the things, that solution-based project. And from the house, it was suggested that it is wise to develop more MOU with these institutions, particularly the public and private universities. Another thing was that there should be good network among the policymakers, among the scholars, students, and all stakeholders, including the journalists. And finally, I should say that indigenous knowledge should be given more, stress, more attention for any kind of knowledge hub and knowledge planning. I don't like to make any further details because in between two speakers, two discussions, I have already shared my ideas. I'm very thankful to the organizer for inviting me to chair this session. I don't know whether Rana has considered me as his teacher or as a part of this, as a small as a student of this field. In both cases, thanks goes to you, and it is an honor for me, and I am happy to be the part of this hub because I was in the initial program in 1 year back, and today in the second South Asian conference, I am also part of that. With this view, I wish it was a very, very successful gathering, and this is the concluding session, and wish you all the best. Have a safe journey to you. Thank you very much. And the foreign participants, thank you very much to all of you who are collected.